Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape, SERE, is a training program, best known by its military acronym, that prepares U.S. military personnel, U.S. Department of Defense civilians, and private military contractors to survive and return with honor in survival scenarios. The curriculum includes survival skills, evading capture, application of the military code of conduct, and techniques for escape from captivity. Formally established by the U.S. Air Force at the end of World War II and the start of the Cold War, it was extended to the Navy and United States Marine Corps, and consolidated within the Air Force during the Korean War, with a greater focus on resistance training. During the Vietnam War, 1959-1975, there was clear need for jungle survival training, and greater public focus on American POWs. As a result, the U.S. military expanded SERE programs and training sites. In the late 1980s, the U.S. Army became more involved with SERE Special Forces and Spec Ops grew. Today, SERE is taught to a variety of personnel based upon the risk of capture and exploitation value, with a high emphasis on aircrew, special operations, and foreign diplomatic and intelligence personnel. The origins of SERE are rooted in the leadership of Britain's Mi-9 Evasion and Escape, EAND, organization, formed at the onset of World War II, 1939-1945. Led by World War I veteran Colonel, later Brigadier, Norman Crockett. Mi-9 were formed to train aircrew and special forces in evading enemy troops following the bailout, forced landings, or being cut off behind enemy lines. A training school was established in London, and officers and instructors from Mi-9 also began visiting operational air bases, providing local training to aircrews unable to be detached from their duties to attend formal courses. Mi-9 went on to devise a multitude of evasion and escape tools. These tools included overt items to aid immediate evasion after bailing out, and covert items for use to aid escape following capture, which was hidden within uniforms and personal items, concealed compasses, silk and tissue maps, etc. Once the United States entered the war in 1941, Mi-9 staff traveled to Washington, D.C. to discuss their now mature EAND training, devices, and proven results with the United States Army Air Forces, USAF. As a result, the United States initiated their own evasion and escape organization, known as MISX, based at Fort Hunt, Virginia. There were also several unofficial private clubs created during World War II by British and American pilots who had escaped from German forces during the war and returned to friendly lines. One such club was the Late Arrivals Club. This strictly non-military club had a flying boot which was worn under the left collar of a uniform as its identifying symbol. USAF General Curtis LeMay realized that it was cheaper and more effective to train aircrews in survival, evasion, resistance, and escape techniques than to have them lost in the Arctic, or ocean, or languishing, or lost in enemy hands. Thus, he supported the establishment of formal SERE training at several bases locations, from July 1942 to May 1944, hosting the 336th Bombardment Group, now the 336th Training Group, including a small program for cold weather survival, at RCAF Station Namao in Edmonton, Alberta, where American, British, and Canadian B-29 aircrews received basic survival training. In 1945, a consolidated survival training center was initiated at Fort Carson, Colorado, under the 3,904th Training Squadron, and, in 1947, the Arctic Indoctrination Survival School, colloquially known as the Cool School, opened at Marks Air Force Base in Nome, Alaska. During World War II, the U.S. Navy discovered that 75% of its pilots who had been shot or forced down came down alive, yet barely 5% of them survived because they could not swim or find sustenance in the water or on remote islands. Since the ability to swim was an essential survival skill for Navy pilots, training programs were developed to ensure pilot trainees could swim, requiring cadets to swim 1 mile and dive 50 feet underwater, so as to be able to escape bullets and suction from sinking aircraft. The training was expanded to include submerged aircraft escape.